You're back. You're back. You were gone last week and you're gone next week, but you're back right now.
I'm back, and I was gone last Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you're at CG.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And then you're gone this next coming Tuesday. So they just get you a couple times this month. But...
So who filled in? What'd you do?
No, it's just me.
Just you?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't listen to it.
I talked about our 3 biggest mistakes.
Oh, really?
But this is different. This is completely different.
Yeah. Today we're going to talk about the top 5 mistakes when you're flipping houses. And there's a lot of mistakes. But we're going to go over top 5 that, effed us over the most. And then I think messes with people the most as well. But after that, we're going to get into some sports. Week 2 in the books for the NFL, Sam. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to get into a live talk and talk about a little deeper topic with the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Yep, for sure. We'll talk about that. And that next week's going to be solo me. That I may do the whole episode on that. We'll see. But all right, Lucas, get us kicked off.
All right, sounds good. So we have flipped a few houses in our day, right?
Yeah.
And I think we're on pace to buy 276 houses this year, 2025. So we buy a lot of houses. We market to sellers. We network in our community. So if anybody's looking for the easy button out there to sell their house and get their client or a neighbor, whoever taken care of, we can help. That's Faster House. And there's a handful of those houses that we buy that we actually take down, rehab, and resell. There's a handful of those houses that we buy that we take down, rehab, and rent. And then there's a portion of it that we sell to other local investors looking to flip as well. So we are pretty plugged in to the flipping game. And, our first year, Sam and I rehabbed 1 house. Second year, and it was a rental. Second year, we probably rehabbed 4 houses. And those were both rentals too. And then we got into actually fix and flipping that next year.
6, 7.
Yeah. So then
6,
we went
7.
to 20 and 30 and 35 and 40 and then 100 because we partnered with Brian and it kind of exploded.
You don't know that 6, 7 thing?
I do 6, 7.
Is that what it is? I don't even know what it means.
Yeah.
It's a trend?
Yeah.
Why are we doing the boobs? Is it a boob thing?
That's just the hand gesture to say, no, not necessarily, not here.
You did them though. They could be
more.
out there.
Good.
Okay, 6, 7. I don't even know.
There's not a ton of substance behind it.
Okay, yeah. That's what I think the point of it was. It's just completely random.
Yeah.
I jumped on the 6, 7 trend.
There you go.
I'm pretty hip.
There you go, man. So we got some credibility to talk about this stuff. So let's get into the number 1 mistake, and we'll kind of talk about maybe an example of each of the mistakes that we did. But we'll keep each of these segments pretty short, 10 to 15 minutes a segment, and we're gonna rock through this. But number 1 top mistake when flipping houses, and this is in no particular order. There's 20, 30, 50 mistakes you can make, but these are the ones that I felt like were most relevant to you guys and to us.
These are the most common.
Yeah. So number 1, Sam, what's number 1?
Number 1 is the number 1 most common one, in my opinion, is underestimating the renovation costs.
Yeah. And I'm going to, why does this happen? Number 1, so a couple reasons why it happens and it's happened more recently, in this market than I feel like it's happened in a while. But number 1 is labor costs have just went up. Cost of materials have went up. So what you could do 3 years ago, you can't do for today. And I feel like if you haven't done a whole bunch of projects over the past 3 years, there'll probably be a bit of a sticker shock when you get that first bid for HVAC. Like we used to be able to do HVACs for $4,000. Right now there's $7,000.
Damn.
You know what I mean? So it's just really hard to estimate it if you're not in it every single day like we are.
Yeah, and I think
that's a piece of it.
Piggyback off that a little bit, I think it's not an exact science. There's not an exact rehab budget. You're predicting the future with a certain amount of certainty, but you don't know exactly what's behind that wall. You probably haven't got bids on exactly everything. A lot of people do time and material. You don't know exactly how much time it's going to take them. Sometimes you get bids and things go over. You have change orders. You decide to change the project as it goes. It's an inexact science.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge reason. And you want it to be low so you can make more money. So in your head, this is a $30,000 rehab.
Yeah.
It's probably, just knowing that, I would tell you it's going to be $38,000. Just knowing that you want it to be less.
To get the deal.
And to get the deal. So I think the biggest thing is we've done hundreds and hundreds, and I don't know the number, you don't either, but you could probably give a better estimate. How many have come in at budget or under? 10% or less?
Oh, it's more than that for us. I would say 50%.
So, all right. So we've done 400 rehabs and
Yeah.
half of them have gone over budget.
Correct.
So, and we're professionals.
To various degrees.
Yes. Oh, yeah, of
Right.
course. But,
Yeah.
but we're also professionals. Somebody
Yeah.
that's doing their first 10 or 15, 90% we're going to go over
Yeah,
budget.
exactly. So Sam mentioned a great point. There's going to be things in that rehab when you walk the house initially that you don't see.
Mhm.
It's going to come up. So you have a scope when you build your rehab, and by the end of the project, there's almost 100% chance that you did things to the house that are not on the original scope. So you're going to find stuff. You're going to want to change stuff throughout the rehab. Hopefully, as you make these decisions throughout the rehab, oh man, should I really do granite instead of Formica? Decisions like that will increase the value to the property. But a lot of times, they're just stuff that has to be done, like waterproofing the basement, like it floods the third week that you bought it. So there's things that are going to come up, and when those costs goes over, like Sam said, that eats directly in your profit.
Yeah, I just think in general, and I guess some advice to overcome this would be just be conservative on your rehab budget. If you think it's this, make sure you are adding a fluff of at least 10%. And then also make sure you're including all of your costs. Make sure you include your utilities costs.
We got that coming up, Sam, I think, on holding costs.
Okay.
Because that's a different world in my eyes.
Okay.
We're just talking construction there.
Renovation costs. So,
Yep.
But make sure you have that fluff in there because, again, things are going to cost more than you think.
Okay. Sounds good. Number 2, hiring poor contractors. So you could have the most perfect budget and scope in the world. You could have accounted for everything behind the wall. Say you do have x-ray vision. You knew exactly what was going to go wrong with this house, and you hire the wrong person, it's going to screw up everything.
Did we know x-ray vision sounds like that?
When I have x-rays, is it a noise? That's more like a...
No, x-ray vision.
That's a different noise.
Yes.
Than an x-ray machine. Yeah, that is cool.
I
thought it was like, woo.
So you don't, like when you hired a painter to paint that one house and then you hired him to do landscaping and then you ended up yelling at him?
That's just one example. What about that house in, I think it was in, where was that? Rockman was the street. Then we hired a friend of a friend. Like, hell, this guy does good stuff, and they're never there.
His name was Sam, wasn't it?
Yeah, his name was Sam. Go figure.
Mm-hmm.
And ways they can hurt you. A bad contractor. Number one, they do poor quality of work.
Yep.
And it's not poor quality rehab. It's not going to sell. Like ever. Or at a
sort of
price
about a
that you want.
6-month period in history of the earth. And we've been investing in real estate. There's about a 6-month time frame where anything would sell, but that was it.
Yep. So there's you got to either redo that work, and chances are you're going to be in some sort of battle of paying that contractor, not paying that contractor. You're going to have legal troubles. You're going to have to pay money for a different contractor to go fix it and redo what you just did. So that can crush your timeline. It could crush you as well. Them spread too thin or not focused on you, don't value you as a client, and that project taking way too long. That's a big one in my eyes.
Yeah. So
how could you negate that?
Well, I think the biggest thing to me, I mean, maybe it's 50-50, but a huge thing is just them just taking longer, and it costs you money to own it. So I think that's a huge one. They tell you it's going to take 2 weeks to paint the house and it takes 4. Yeah. It's a big deal because everything else is delayed, and then everything else gets delayed, just throws off the whole thing. So ways to avoid that is go with vetted contractors that maybe is not a friend of a friend of a friend, but somebody that you trust and know in the game.
In St. Louis, go with STL Reno.
There you go.
Our construction company, we built this so you don't have to go through this.
Correct. So we have all the good contractors. We have all the good leads there. So you will get good work done at a very good price on time or as close to that as possible. But I think just going with a trusted contractor or general to run the project, I think is the best way to avoid this. You can do that
by walking some of their work.
Walking some of their work, and just a really good referral. Like if there's certain people that if they refer somebody to me, I don't need to check it. And there's certain people that you should, but just in general.
And there's great people like who referred us, Sam, the painter, that maybe
it was Steve. It was our private lender.
Great person. So maybe people that are in the game, just like people that are doing what you're doing, referrals from people you trust and know that are doing what you're doing.
Yeah, just like I heard of this guy that did this for me doesn't mean he can run a rehab project.
Yep.
All right, I like it.
Cool. All right, number 3, get into that longer length here, but ignoring or underestimating holding costs. So this is separate from the project. There's little things like utilities that add up, insurance, real estate taxes.
Can you clarify the real estate taxes? Because when I say that, some people think like your profit tax. Now explain, if you don't mind, or I can, what real estate taxes are and how they're calculated when you're rehabbing a project.
Yeah, for sure. So real estate taxes are if you
Property.
own a tax, a lot of people call them property taxes. We have personal property taxes here in Missouri, so we don't call them property taxes here because it's kind of it gets too close. So we call them real estate taxes, but other people call them property taxes. But yeah, you have a tax bill on every house that at the end of the year that you pay. To your local county. And then they use that money for schools and fire departments and all that, roads, all that type of stuff. But when you say you buy a house in April of the year, and I'm going to try to do some math here, Sam. And let's do, in the real estate taxes are $12,000. That's a lot. Well, it's like $4,000. You buy a house at the end of April, real estate taxes are $4,000. Let's do end of March. Buy a house at the end of March or April 1st. Real estate taxes are $4,000. When you buy that house, you get a credit for $3,000 because you're going to own it for 3/4 of the year. That's how they look at it. So you get $3,000. But when you sell it, you have to give back, however long you owned it, what you're due on those real estate taxes. So you don't pay it on a monthly basis, but the longer you hold it, the bigger that chunk is that you're going to have to pay out when you sell it.
Yep. So I think the biggest thing is you pay taxes every month that you own it, and whether it be the end of the year you own it or you close on it before then, regardless, you have to pay taxes, real estate property taxes for when you own it, and you need to account for that. And very few people.
And if you own it through the end of the year, you have to pay that cash. You have to pay that out cash if you own it at the first of the year. So those are things, utility, insurance.
But there's a big one.
Yes, and real estate taxes that could add up to $5,000 plus. So that adds up. But the most expensive holding cost to me is your cost of your money. And this one is not cheap when you're fix and flipping unless you're using
FasterFreedom Capital.
Yeah.
899.
Yeah.
9% for hard money.
Yeah. So most, I would say, hard money lenders, private lenders are probably in that 12% range. So every month you own it, you're paying a percent of whatever they
more math. $300,000 loan.
Yep. $300,000 loan. A percent of that would be $3,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
If it's a 12%, yeah.
Yeah. So $3,000. So every month you own it, $3,000. And people like to overestimate how quickly they can get something done and sold. But chances are, if you buy it, it takes several weeks to get a rehab plan together. You might not even start it for a month. You rehab it, you hire the wrong contractor, you go over budget, you go over timeline, and then it sits on the market. So instead of selling it in 5 months like you thought, it's 8 months and 9 months. So that's a difference of could be $9,000 to $12,000 of that example that we just gave. So that's a huge difference. You have that $12,000 difference 4 months over. And then you have $5,000 difference in other holding costs. That's a difference of
almost 20 grand,
over 20 grand. And that could be damn near your whole profit or close to it. So definitely keep in mind closing costs, make sure you have, or holding costs, make sure you put that into your formula and be conservative on your time frame.
And I believe, if not, DM me. We have a calculator that helps with that. Just go to FasterFreedomCalculator.com. Look at all these giveaways, or just DM me on Instagram. I'll shoot it to you. All right, numero 4, Quattro.
Now, misjudging the ARV. Mm-hmm. This is a big one. So what ARV stands for after repaired value. And to get that it is an art. Again,
art, science, and math all
combined. So you have an idea of what you think this house could be worth after it is fixed up. But there's only one way to really tell what it's going to be worth after it's fixed up.
Put it on the market.
For whatever it sells for. That's what it's worth. The market speaks, right? So,
Bob, what language does the market speak in? Dollars and cents.
There you go. I was just saying it depends what country you're in.
That's true.
Yeah, it probably speaks that native language.
It does.
Yeah. So in America, that'd be American, right?
American, and if you're in Mexico, it's Mexican, and if you're Canada, it's Canadian.
Yep. Not necessarily the case, and those are all wrong.
Those are all English, Lucas.
Not Mexico. Even Mexico,
Spanish. They speak a lot of English down there too. But
do they?
I go there often.
Off resort.
I mean, no, not off resort. On the all-inclusive resorts, they all speak English. All right. So, misjudging ARV, Lucas. Did you know FasterFreedom has its own patented hashtag trademarked way to do it?
Yeah.
The 333 rule.
Okay.
Do you know what that rule is?
Tell me about it.
You find 3 houses that have sold in the past 3 months that are within 1/3 of a mile of the subject property you're looking at. it's in the same condition. Now, you're just looking for comps. You can have a realtor run this for you. And again, it's not an exact known science, but you can get pretty darn close usually. So you look for those. If you're looking at comping, finding the ARV, those are synonyms. For a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot ranch, you can find 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot ranches that are in condition that yours will be in once you sell it, that have sold in the past 3 months in a third of a mile. That's not always possible. So that's when you expand each. You always need 3, but you go out 6 months or you go out a half a mile. So you start to expand the other variables to get to those 3. That was good.
Great.
You were acting like it was stupid.
It was great. So, and when you're looking at those comps, over the past few years, houses, it's pretty common that maybe they'll sell for over asking. So I would not list at what it's sold for. Look at what those listed for to get them to go over asking, to create that kind of frenzy and urgency in that particular house. So, we're going to get into some other things that correlate to ARV on number 5, but just be conservative and list conservatively. I think to get it to sell fast and hopefully over if you list it conservatively.
So that means, in my opinion, if you find 3 good comps, whether within a half a mile or 3/4 of a mile, and the last 6 months, if one sold for $315, one sold for $305, and one sold for $310, I would say $300 or $305 is your ARV. That's what we mean by conservative. Don't say
$299
or $299. Don't say $315, $305, $310. Don't say, I think I can probably sell this thing for $324.9. I'm going to list to that. Like, for your numbers, go with the lowest one or even below it.
And make sure those houses are as similar as possible. You don't want to be comparing ranches to 2 stories. Sometimes you can get away with 1 less bathroom or 1 more bathroom if it's a very similar house. Finished basements add value, obviously. Garages add value. So there's things that you can adjust your formula as you're looking through them, but make sure the house is as similar as possible and just make small tweaks.
For sure.
All right, number 5, becoming emotionally attached. Since we just talked ARV, I'm going to hit it from this angle, and then there's a couple other angles.
Hit it from the right angle, Luke.
I got you. So becoming emotionally attached. To me, a way that this could come into play is if, man, you spent 12 months rehabbing a house instead of 5. You put in all this money. It looks beautiful. You love this house so much that you're going to list it for way higher than the comps say because you love it. You have that much money into it that you need to recoup, and you have a bogus list price because of it. So that could really hurt you. And then days on market are going to be much higher. You're going to have to drop and drop and drop, and you'll probably not end up selling it for what you wanted to if you listed it right the first time. So that's one way.
Yeah, so that it gets some stank on it.
Yeah. There's another way. An example. Sam, I want you to tell.
Give me that example, Luke.
I want you to tell them. And this is when you get a house under contract and you love that house, but they ask for maybe some inspection repairs. We have a good friend, Danny Dowd, that maybe in the past it became a little too emotionally attached with the house. You want to tell them that story a little?
It's emotionally attached, and that can include your pride and
Absolutely.
your ego. That's usually what it is. So when you are getting emotionally attached to a property, and for whatever reason you are letting your heart speak over your mind, and you get pissed off at an offer, or you think they're asking too much, and then you just like over counter and overreact, you can draw people away. It's happened. That specific example, Danny got an offer that was close to asking with a contingency, and he countered above asking, I believe, and told him to take the contingency away. They went away, and then they ended up selling for like $30,000 less, like 3 months later. Like, just the contingency is a different thing because that can muddy things up a little bit. But in general, your first offer is usually going to be one of your best ones, and just don't let your pride or ego, I thought I was going to make $75,000 on this, and if I accept this offer, it's only $50,000. No, take it and run and move on to the next one.
Yep, agree. Can definitely come into play, and those conversations and decisions get harder when your margins start to shrink, and even maybe when you're losing money on a house. So, I think it's most of the time, If you've been on the market for a long time and you get an offer where you're going to lose a few bucks, it's probably best just to sell it and move on and start fresh on the other one, and versus hanging on to it forever and that loss just continue to compound and get bigger.
Yep, 100%. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into rehabbing when you're flipping and you're keeping it as rental or selling it on the open market. Just the best things I would tell you, and this isn't really a pitch for the community, just get some guidance along the way, whether it's a local meetup that's free, whether it's an investor friend that you know that is helping you, or you're paying them to help you with it, or you're involved in a community like ours. There's just so many variables and moving pieces. That's why maybe eventually AI that hasn't figured out how to take a picture of a house and give you an ARV, even though it can solve all these equations, just because there's just so many moving variables and unknowns. And Lucas and I could walk in 10 different properties and have 10 different ARVs from each other, and none of them are right or wrong. It's just it's not an exact binary type of process. So that's why it's tough.
All right, my man. Let's transition into some more fun before we get into something a little more serious. All right. Biggest takeaways through the first 2 weeks of the NFL season. Samuel John Prem.
My fantasy football team's banging, by the way.
It usually is.
I always win, but I like this team more than any other year.
Yeah.
I'm 1-1, but that's okay.
Okay. This is on actual teams, not your fantasy type teams, Sam. But anyway, there are, played 2 games, and there are 10 undefeated teams. Arizona Cardinals, Buffalo Bills, Cincinnati Bengals, Green Bay Packers, Indianapolis Colts, Los Angeles Chargers, LA Rams, Eagles, Niners, and the Bucks. But there's also a handful of teams that haven't won a game yet. So Panthers, Bears, Browns, Texans, Chiefs, Dolphins, Saints, Giants, Jets, and Titans have not won a game, and then some teams in the middle there that are 1-1. So
there's a couple freaking outliers.
Yeah,
there's one outlier in each.
That's what I would like to talk about, Sam. So what surprises you the most on who is playing well so far, and then who's not performing very well?
The Colts are the biggest surprise on the 2-0, which is still early, but hey, it's people make sweeping statements this early. We're not.
And they have the highest point differential of anybody in the league.
Plus
26. So they're not just beating people.
Well, they beat the brakes off of the first team they played, and then last game was close. But yes, I think they barely beat the Broncos, and I believe the first week they maybe Giants or Panthers. Anyways, they beat they won by like 20 points the first game, or 23. But yes, they have that. That's, hey, guess what? You can only play what you played. So they've done it. So that's surprising, because most people had Colts in 4th place in the division and one of the worst 2 or 3 teams in the league, which honestly could still happen. But right now they're doing well. And then a little bit of a homer thought, but on the 0-2 teams, most people thought the Panthers were not going to be good. Titans, Jets, Giants, Saints, Dolphins. Houston's a little bit of a surprise. Yeah. Browns aren't. The biggest surprise there is obviously the Chiefs.
Well, let's talk about that. Do you think the Chiefs are in trouble, Sam?
Define trouble.
Define trouble. Let's keep it simple real quick. In risk of not making playoffs.
I think it went from about a 0% chance to a 10% chance, but I wouldn't say
a huge risk.
I wouldn't say no. They've not played very good either game. They were in both games. If one thing happened, they would have, which on the NFL is tight margins, but one thing different, they'd be 2-0 in both games.
And both teams are 2-0.
Both teams are 2-0, yes.
Played, so both good teams.
And it's the Chargers, who everybody thinks is really good. Yeah, Harbaugh's a hell of a coach, and then the Eagles and Chiefs have been the best team in the league the last 3-4 years, not even close to those 2 teams.
Yeah. So okay, so then take it up a notch. Do you think they can still compete for a Super Bowl this year?
I do, yes. It's tough to take. I mean, one year, I think a couple years ago, they were 10-7 or 10-6 or not, maybe 9-7 before they went to 17 games. That was their first, or the Super Bowl. They won that first when they won 2 in a row. I mean, they just, you can't count them out. They're not very healthy right now. Their line's a mess. Their receivers are hurt. They have a number 3 receiver being a number 1 receiver. They can't protect their Patty very much. I think through the first 2 weeks, he had the quickest to throw, like hike to throw, in the league, which means don't trust the line.
Okay.
Don't trust them. Got to get out. Don't trust them. Got to get out. Get on the play.
So the play calls are that because they don't trust coordinators don't trust the line. Okay.
Yes. So that's the number. They know the line's not trusted, as opposed to, I think Jalen Hurts had the longest time in between throws, because they got the first or second best offensive line. He's mobile too. So
speaking of line not trusted, let's talk about Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow out for a significant period of time.
At least 3 months.
With toe surgery. That would freaking hurt.
Turf toe. It sounds like, but it's really apparently like they can't.
Because you need your toe for like everything,
To
every
move,
movement. Yeah. So I saw a few stats about they were comparing like, remember Andrew Luck? He was one of your favorite players and a hell of a player in college and a damn good pro for a while there. Really never got a chance to like develop into like one of the best quarterback in the league, which he had the skill set to do, in my opinion, because he retired. He retired because he
Hired 31.
Yeah. And I think, did he go 4 years in college too?
He did.
So he was only in the league for 6-7 years.
Mm-hmm. He was so
11.
6'7". He was so
maybe
good.
More, maybe 8. I don't know. But anyway, they were comparing his stretch versus Joe Burrow's first stretch of his career, and Joe Burrow's been like hit and sacked more times than.
And I saw, and Luck got hit a ton. Both of them extend plays a little bit. Joe, like, part of getting hurt is like extending and doing things. And Luck was.
He didn't have the body.
Luck was big. Yeah, Luck. I just remember he took over the 1-15 Colts. They ranked 32 out of 32, and he went.
I think 9-9.
11-5, 11-5, 11-5. He went 11-5 his first 3 years with like the worst. He was good.
He was good.
But yeah, he just got sick of it.
Joey's got a little history being hurt.
A lot of big history being hurt.
Yeah, big history being hurt, and it was interesting. I think this weekend's game, they were down 17-10 when he got hurt, and then they came back and won the game with I forget
Browning.
Jake
Browning.
Browning. So.
He can sling a little bit.
But I mean, them being 2-0 without Joe is going to be
most people think their playoff hopes are shot, especially in the division with the Steelers, but then with the Ravens obviously.
Yeah. It was 1-1.
Yeah, no, it's it's going to be tough for them going forward. 3.
Oh man,
of 3.
That's like through.
It's like 10 games.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, it'll be tough. He'll come back and. But yeah, he can sling it. He's one of the most historically accurate quarterbacks.
If they can somehow be 500 when he comes back, that would help.
Well, I think with the influx of quarterback play,
4 and 6.
Well, the
next 10,
the quarterback's play's never been better, but neither has the backup play. There's just so much talent that QBs, it's become a QB driven league.
Younger, I don't know much about.
I don't know much about him. I just know that these like Mac Jones just started for the
Chase Daniel back in the
day.
day.
Well, Chase, well, these guys like Mac Jones just started for the 49ers because Brock Purdy's hurt. They're for at least another few weeks. And I think his first half, I saw he had like 2 touchdowns, 11 for 17, 160 yards. And that's a 1 half, and that's a backup. The backups are good these days because people get to college and they have 15,000 snaps because kids have they're groomed. So anyways, the quarterback play, it's not as big of a drop off as it typically would be, but yeah, it's
just such an important position.
It is. It's the most important position in any sport. It's not even close.
I see that. Yep, no doubt. You gotta. I mean, we've seen like
touch ball every play.
Par quarterback win a championship. What was that with the 2000 Ravens?
Trent Dilfer.
Yeah, I mean, besides that, you gotta have a good quarterback, or you're not gonna win it.
So quarterback league, quarterback head coach / offensive coordinator league. I mean, it's if you have a good quarterback, if you have a top 10 quarterback, I think. Kyle says this, but if you have a top 10 quarterback, you sleep good at night and you drive to work every day happy. If you don't, it's tough.
Yeah. Speaking of good quarterbacks, I watched the highlights of when the Patriots were playing the Falcons in the World Series.
Tommy got on
28-3.
Tommy got
28-3 with 8 minutes left to go in the third quarter.
Tommy got hot.
That was wild. And then all the sideline chatter as they're down 20.
He's a psycho.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun to watch. So last thing here, Sam, who can you pick top 3 teams out of the first 3?
Right now? Yeah, I would go Packers, number 1.
Packers look really good.
Yeah, they're
beating the Lions week 1. Lions looked a little rusty and look way better.
Part of that's the Packers, though, is my point. And then
Packers are good. Drew loves starting.
And they spanked pretty good the Commanders. Commanders were
good too.
And they're like the one that's still the younger teams in the league too.
Yeah.
They're super fast. So Green Bay is my number 1 seed. My 2 seed is probably Buffalo.
Yeah.
And then my 3 seed would probably be between the Eagles, Rams, and Chargers. I think
pretty good.
I don't really like the Eagles just because they beat the Chiefs. I'm kind of a Chiefs fan, not like crazy. And then the tush push is annoying to watch and see. But the Rams, Sean McVay's, most people say he's the second or third best coach in the league.
Yeah. I would agree. I do think Detroit's going to be a force this year.
I could see that.
I know they're 1-1, but it's early. Detroit's going to be a force. Baltimore's going to be a
Baltimore's always going to be a force. My only concern, and a lot of people love the Broncos. My only concern, not my only, with Detroit is it's such a coordinator-driven league. They lost their offensive and defensive coordinator, and the Eagles went through this a couple of years ago. They lost both of them, and they lost like 8 games in a row. And they're the Eagles, and they just had made the Super Bowl. So, I agree. I think Detroit. Listen to the freaking North, NFC North. You got the Lions. Good. The Vikings, they're not like that. Their coach is incredible. And then you got the Packers. And then the Bears, but you got that's a good division.
They had 2 Monday night games last night. I watched, so I turned it on for the last drive of the first game. It was Bucks and Texans, I believe, and Baker put together a hell of a drive.
I saw that. I watched that.
Like zero fear. It was like 4th and 10. Like he had one guy. It was leading up to that, and then this is when they're on their own 25, and they had one guy miss a dime, and then he kind of missed through one, and then like zero no worry, nothing, and then almost gets sacked and then scrambles for like 25 yards, and then from there on it was just boom, 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 all the way down. Perfect clock management. He's a gamer, dude.
He is. He was didn't work out in Cleveland. He was hurt a little bit, and he had a little bit of an attitude. He's matured a little bit, but he threw for last year. He had an incredible year. Like he's like a top 10 guy, which is pretty.
He can sling it.
He's
sling. Not big. He's like 5'10".
No, and it's not super athletic. He moves a little bit, but not a ton. And he's a gamer. He's banged. You saw last night that run.
Yeah,
got flipped over. He's banged up a little bit.
Yep.
He can. I went from not really liking Baker to appreciate. I
like him too. Well, it's fun, Sam. All right. Well, we're
not fun.
Transition into the.
We don't spend a ton of time on this. I think I'm gonna do a deep dive on it next week.
Okay. So yeah, it's been just a heavier week last week. With all sorts of bad shit going on in our country, with the train stabbing and the school shooting, I believe, and then I've getting capped off by Charlie Kirk getting shot. So it's been a tough week, and everybody, and around here definitely has felt really weird last week. Just this weird feeling, and so we're gonna talk a little bit about this. Not gonna go crazy on it. There's a lot of theories out there, but we're going to tell you what happened, and then just our take on it. Does that sound good, Sam? Anything else to kick it off?
I think you're good.
All right. So I didn't know much about Charlie, honestly. I've seen a couple of his videos, but I never knew like his name but he all over social media, got a big following, but not as I didn't realize how powerful his following was and how much he meant to so many people, which is amazing to see everybody kind of rally behind him for sure, that are doing it, let's say the right way, right? Okay, so what happened here? Last week on September 10th, Charlie was fatally shot in the neck at Utah Valley University. So he was the co-founder of Turning Point USA. This is an influential political. He was an influential political commentator and definitely polarizing for sure. What I kind of have seen about Charlie is, he knew what he stood for and really believed in it, and he believed in it so much that he liked to spread the gospel.
That was pretty part of it,
for lack of a better term there, or no pun intended. But and he wanted other people to kind of feel what he felt when for believing those things. There was he goes around these colleges and he has these debates of some sort. And this was a prove me wrong style event is what it's called. But there was a shooter about 200 yards away. And they arrested the suspect 2 days later. Tyler, I'm not even saying his name, but a 22-year-old from a pretty normal family. It seems like. Investigation is still ongoing. I think there's a lot to dig into here, or at least a lot to figure out that they need to dig into. Motive's not 100% confirmed, but the Utah governor did mention radicalizations online and. That especially of the shooter of how kind of off the rails he's has been the past little bit here, years. So, I'm going to kick it over to you now. Anything else there?
A couple of things. So you may not know this. I heard a video clip of Charlie talking about this. Turning Point had 1,000 employees.
Oh, big company.
150 million in revenue.
Wow.
So he's 31. Hell of a company. I didn't go to college.
No, I definitely didn't know that.
Yeah.
He was big on don't go to college unless you're like super specialized.
Yeah,
for sure. He's big, not huge, which is interesting going around to college and talking about that.
Well, I think his thought process was colleges are overly liberal, and the college students are overly liberal. And I heard one of his quotes were 5-10 years ago, colleges were overly liberal, students were overly liberal. Now colleges still are, students not so much. So so there's that. And then I think it's we don't want to speak non-factually, but connecting the dots of what was written on the bullets has been released. A lot of hate, anti-fascist, and transgender type of language. Apparently, it's been pretty well reported. So I don't think I'm talking out of context here that the shooter was dating a transgender person. So that's been confirmed, and I believe the transgender person is cooperating with authorities. From everything I read on, it's not I don't think disputed. So it was hate driven. Yeah, it's weird. I can't remember a time where I've been as affected by a murder of somebody I never met or didn't really know. I think about it a lot.
Death probably was Kobe to me.
Yeah,
I still think about.
Yeah, I do too.
But he didn't get murdered, but it's still in a crazy,
somewhat similar as far as just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But this, I think the worst thing is I wish I'd never seen the video. I saw the one from far away, the one close up. I just even at the gym this morning, just thinking about. It's a weird feeling, and I've had conversations with people. I don't. It's not because he's a white Christian. It's just I think it's because I saw it is a big thing. I mean, if there was an African American up there got shot in the neck, I'd be affected too if I saw a video from 8 feet away.
And I think anyone who their personal life is out there that much, you feel like him a little bit, so it affects you more. And knowing he was that young and had a family and
his daughters were there, or daughters were there,
and that's the big thing to me. That's all that matters, and that it obviously is someone did something that should never be done to anyone.
No matter what they say, he said words and he got killed from it. It's and there's conspiracy theories. He was having quite the influence above the political polls, and people he disagreed with some of the things that his political party was doing. So there's all that. I don't want to really get into that right now. But in general, the biggest issue I have it with is just the dehumanizing of it. It's not a movie. It wasn't a TV show. He actually died, and we saw it. And it's not something that should be celebrated or used to the right's trying to start Civil War. No, you're not going to start Civil War. Shut the fuck up. Left side celebrating it. Not everybody from both sides.
I would say those are the extremes.
But they're very loud extremes.
Yeah.
And I would say they're very small percentages. But still, to have people say those types of things, it's just wild to me. It's I think that's a slippery slope. When you dehumanize people, you can put them in buckets.
And you make it a political issue.
Yes.
When really someone died. Who cares?
Yeah.
I
care about people dying in wars across the country, locally, color. Nobody should unnecessarily die, especially for speaking words, not a home invader that gets shot or something. You're just talking, and the whole purpose of what he said. So many videos I've seen is he was just trying to get back to conversations. He would get fired up, but I still have yet to see him saying anything outlandishly racist or anything like that. Most of the bigots or all those things he's being called, people's videos, no, he's not. But that's the other thing I don't like is people are calling him a racist when it's very clear. I've seen hours and hours of content now of him just saying it's nothing to do with race.
What good is that?
No, it doesn't.
That good, dude.
It's justifying it. I heard somebody say, well, he's a white supremacist. He wasn't. And even if he was, he shouldn't die.
Yeah.
People that hate black people shouldn't die. People that hate white people shouldn't die. It's a human life.
And hating someone because of their views is ridiculous to me, at least how I view the world. However you see the world, whatever your views are, that's great. That's amazing. That's what makes our country so amazing. And I think he believed in it so much, like I said, that he just wanted to share. I'm a little different in that. I'm more lines of hey, I don't necessarily want you to see how I see, but he believed in it so much that was his mission in life, was to show people his way, right?
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And so the cool, there's hopefully a positive that comes out of this, right? And just people that are like gathering and supporting him the right way is pretty cool to see. And then the people that are want to, sometimes it takes crazy tragic events to bring us together, whereas initially I feel like everybody wants to divide us right away. And we gotta fucking stay together, because this isn't a political thing. This isn't
a human thing.
This is a human thing and an American thing as well. So the more divided we get, the more trouble this country's going to be in. So,
no, it's that's a slippery slope, is division and not immunity, for sure. And it doesn't help when people just use it to stoke the flames on both sides. So it's tough. It's a weird situation. So I don't like it. Hopefully the feeling goes away a little bit, but it is something that happened, and hopefully we can take some good out of it, because there's not much to be taken good out of watching somebody get assassinated.
Yeah. I mean, and gosh, there's been, how many political figures either shot at or I'm not saying he's political.
He is. I mean, the whole movement was to support so he's very political.
Political figures getting shot at,
but that doesn't hold office. He's just a person that has strong political opinions.
Right. So we gotta, we can't get rid of all the crazy people in the wind. So I think there needs, I don't know, like better security or something.
Yeah, I mean, he had really good security. Just they were looking at the roof line or the angle. They couldn't see it. The only angle I saw where you could see the shooter up there was one from the side, and then like in like the building behind it, kind of high up.
If you're getting that high profile, which he was,
I don't think we realized how powerful he was.
I don't think so either. I definitely did.
Apparently, like his following and all of these things, but apparently he talked to J.D. Vance all the time, the vice president, and the president asked him stuff all the time, because he represented an entire generation that was turning towards that party. So, he was very powerful. Like a lot of him, one of the most I've like seen the numbers. I don't remember. I'm not going to try to recite them for lack of trying to be hyperbolic, but he started the biggest movement ever, like as far as like political or like getting people to like, transforming people from the left to the right.
Yeah. Crazy. Sad day for us, for sure. So yeah, just feel free to obviously continue to support Charlie, but let's do it the right way. And just because you didn't believe in Charlie's messages doesn't mean you can't grieve and support the people that he really meant a lot to.
For sure. Cool. All right. We'll end on a little bit somber note, but hopefully you got a little bit. We like to mainly do real estate, but occasionally we delve into other topics. And we will see you on the next one. Next week will be me solo. I may not go into this. We'll see. But anyways, it'll be good either way. See you on the next one.